Hi everybody, this is Kelsey at Ritter's. We're going to talk about some fun perennials that we have right now. So we will start with the Brunera. This one is Queen of Hearts. There's a lot of different kinds. Jack Frost is really cool too, and I think we have that one also. This one is the Proven Winner one, and these leaves are amazing. They get even bigger than this in the landscape too, and then they get these cute little blue flowers in the early spring. For the rest of the year though, it's the nice silver foliage, and then they die down to the ground over the winter. And so you just cut the dead leaves off in the fall, and then in the spring it comes right back up again. And you really just can't get this color on any other plant. So it's a very valuable perennial for the shade. It can take a little bit of sun, but it's best in shade. Kind of the same place you'd put a hosta. This is Heuchera, and this one is Mahogany Monster. So this is going to be a big Heuchera, and this again is a shade perennial. It does get a little flower that comes up probably about that tall off the plant, and it's got kind of like the Brunner. It's got like a little dainty flower, except its flower is usually somewhere in the pink-red category. And they are really cute. When they get really mature in the landscape, you'll get quite a few flowers kind of in the summer. But really the reason to grow this is for the foliage. There's a lot of different kinds of Heuchera. This is one of many different colors. There's another one that I really like that's like deep purple. I think it's Wildberry, and it's also a Proven Winner. And you really can't get these kinds of colors year-round in the landscape without Heuchera. All right, this one is also shade, and this is kind of unique. So if you know fuchsias, you've already figured out that this is a fuchsia. And this is hardy. We have one in our landscape right out front of our front doors here. And it survived last winter and the winter before. So, and I have one in my yard that's also survived. So they are hardy. If you live further north, like, you know, too far down the hill past Wandermere, you may be kind of on the borderline, but anywhere in town and anywhere south, you are totally fine with this plant. When you plant it, you just have to plant it kind of deep, sort of like how you'd plant a rose, maybe about that far up the plant, and then over the winter, you will cover it with like pine needles or some kind of mulch to kind of mulch in the root system, and then in the spring you take that mulch off and it comes right back up from the roots. And that's why you bury the crown, is because you're protecting that crown even more over the winter by having it, you know, 4 or 5 inches underneath the ground. And really it is worth the extra effort, because there's nothing prettier than a fuchsia flower, and it comes in a lot of different colors too. This one's light pink. There's purple ones, there's dark pink ones. You can't go wrong, and it is a shade plant. Okay, so I've got 2 different kinds of campanula or bellflower. This one is a more upright one, and this one is called Genty White Bellflower, and it's from Monrovia. And there is a blue version of this too, so that's really cute. And it will be upright. It'll be about, let's check. This one will be 16 to 18 inches tall, so that'll be, you know, about knee height, maybe a little less. And it will bloom early spring and then kind of early summer too. When it gets hot, they tend to kind of quit blooming quite as much. But I have seen my ground cover type then bloom again in the fall. And this is a ground cover type campanula. So this one, it's sort of a light purple, and you can get it in blue, you can get it in white, and it'll form sort of like a mat over the ground, and it is a very prolific bloomer. You'll just get like a mat of flowers, and it makes a really good border for just like the edge of your perennial beds. And I don't know, this is a really good plant for the sun. Both of these are sun plants. The next one is the Proven Winners Boogie Woogie Sedum. This is new this year, I think. And sedum, as you might know, is a dry plant. So this would go in your hot, dry sun where you have troubles with other things. And this has, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got variegated foliage, and then it will get bright yellow flowers. It's pretty, and there's not, I don't know, sedum a lot of times will be a solid color. It's unique to have them variegated like this. And it's nice because the foliage isn't always, not everybody loves the foliage, but everybody can love this foliage. Okay, so the last one we have is Penstemon, or beard tongue. This one it's one of my favorite perennials. It is semi-native Penstemon. There is a native Penstemon that's native to kind of the Spokane, Pacific Northwest region. It's sort of a little bit more dry plant, so it can go in your very dry, hot spots. And you can get it in lots of different colors. This one is pink, there's blue, there's purple, and pretty much everything in between. There's red, which is really pretty. And it's nice because you get this, and you can get that. It's sort of a little bit later bloomer, so we're talking end of June in the landscape. And once it's done flowering and it's got its seed heads, you just cut it back and you'll get a new flush of blooms just a few weeks later. And that's why I like this plant, is you can kind of control when it blooms. And it does tend to be a little bit taller of a plant, but you can control that early in the spring before it started blooming, before it's shot up its blooms. You can cut it back pretty far, like maybe by about half in, say, probably about right now, like end of May. When you're seeing it come up and it's maybe 6 to 8 to 10 inches tall, kind of in there, cut it back by half and it'll bloom at a shorter height. So if you don't want a super tall plant, you can control it that way. So that's Penstemon. And I think that covers all of our perennials today. There's many more that are really good for early season, and then they bloom all year round. Thank you.